Now, if you're looking for Bible study, unfortunately, you're going to have to do your own Bible study. Or look at, on YouTube, I would recommend Chuck Missler. But be prepared to be taught by a master. That man knew a lot, still knows it, but he's in heaven. He's left planet Earth. But, you know, you're in your own mind. You're living in your own mind. And in your own mind, you've created a world of fear. And you've created, and now you can say circumstances. You can say, well, it was the rape, it was the attempted murder. You can do that. You're correct. There were elements, contributing elements, events, spending 11 years in combat. You're absolutely 100% correct. But you can't change the past. You can be enraged. You can be of the spirit of that you need to get even, but that's not going to help you. See, finding that uncle that raped you as a 5-year-old girl and waiting for his apology is not going to help you. Those sensations, that panic, that fear is only going to go away when you stop scaring yourself. My psychology starts with thoughts. I understand the abuse. I understand the world and I understand everything the world does, but how do we process that information? Do we look for the positive in it? Because there's always something good. Learning a lesson from our mistakes is positive. The Bible verse, what they intended for evil, God uses for good, is very good. Because those who hurt you wanted to practice evil, but God will use it for you to love Him and for you to love yourself, for you to come in touch with the goodness in you, the real you, the you that He created when He said, let us make them in our image. See, you have the ability to be pleasant, to be good and decent, to be righteous and innocent. See, you have that. And these things to help you become whatever it is you want to become in life. The only thing we can do is make sure that we enjoy the ride, that we celebrate life no matter what challenges we're going through. Now, we can't be causing ourselves problems and then complaining. We're in charge. We're in control. We're in charge and we're in control because we can say, God, help me. And He will. So the idea that we have no control is wrong. Our our Lord and Savior is our protector. He's our security guard. He's our law enforcement officer. He's our military personnel. He's out there to help us, to protect us. And when we leave planet Earth, if we are sincere people, we will have eternity in heaven. We can help ourselves. We can calm down. We can relax little by little. Start honest conversation. There are good and bad people in relationships. It's not all the time both people are bad. In some relationships, it is one person who is doing everything wrong, but you're not under any biblical obligation to stay in an unhealthy relationship. You're not. But when you're looking through your emotions, you will be asking yourself, how much confidence do I have that my dad will change? But if you come to the conclusion that you just cannot count on them, you got to protect yourself. God can only do so much for us. God does not make us alcoholics. God does not make us drug addicts. God does not tell us to treat our body like a sexual recreation center. He puts very good values, very good standards that are directly related to health, directly related to our joy, to love, to peace. God knows the best way to live a life. And even in this crazy world where you believe that cohabitating is the correct thing, and it's not, but God's not against you. God only wants you to understand that you're on the wrong road. And if you keep going down that wrong road, you're eventually going to come to a cliff and drive right over it. And He's doing it for our benefit. And it's up to us to choose. It's up to us to choose if we're going to keep having these recurring nightmares, these recurring thoughts, this recurring rage and anger, afraid of our own thoughts, afraid to put our thoughts in order, and afraid to put our emotions in order. If we're going to continue to hate life, not get anything valuable from life, not enjoy the melody, not laugh, not sing, not play, not have fun. It's our choice. And it's going to start and it's going to hurt. If you sprain an ankle, those first days it's going to hurt to put weight on it. However, little by little, as you exercise, you're going to become strong. So little by little, as you start thinking positive, as you start reading the Bible, as you start enjoying a relationship with God, you're going to become stronger. Your spirit is going to become stronger. You are going to become more positive. You're going to find that peace. You're going to find that love. You're going to find that joy. Not only are you going to receive it from God's great love, but you're also going to be able to give it. You're going to be a blessing to other people. It's not impossible. We are the ones who make things impossible in life. And the enemy knows that. The enemy knows that the life teaches us some very bad attitudes, some very bad practices, and that he's got us. He has defeated us. He has managed to win. We're not enjoying God. And we have put up walls and distance between God, and many people don't want to know God. There are many people who have not, will not, under any circumstances, consider God. And that's a big loss, because we are eternal. And by being eternal, we'll either spend eternity in heaven or we'll spend eternity in hell. And of course, the other thing is that we can receive the blessings of God while we're here. That's the other side of the coin. Today, today you can have a pleasant, enjoyable life today. It is possible. Even with serious mental health disorders. Heck, I would even go to and I can still use these terminologies. I'd have to say even with mental retardation. It's still possible to have a blessed life. By God's automatic miracle healing and with God's wisdom, helping us understand our thoughts and our emotions and how we can help ourselves. Start, I believe it's, well, it hasn't crossed midnight yet, but for my purposes, this is the video of May 22, 2019, in an hour, more or less, 20 minutes. It'll cross into midnight, but since I start my day, it doesn't matter, you don't need to understand that much how the sausage is made. What's on my mind apparently is parenting, and I heard something yesterday, and it is related to a godly living, being a good parent and having good children. See, most of psychology, most of a person's good or bad psychology actually comes from the parent-child relationship. And I know people don't like to hear that, because I watch the same, well, actually I don't. I used to, but I don't anymore. So I watch the same foolish TV programs that you watch, but I don't. I don't watch Good Morning America. the Today Show. I don't know what the CBS one is. And a lot of people get their psychology from that. And it's very bad psychology. And every time something happens in a school, violence, aggression involving a child, people always ask, well, how could that have happened? And those of us who pay attention, who got educations in psychology, very quickly will go, well, it had to do with the nature of the relationship between the child and the parent. So you as a parent have a lot of responsibilities. And I'm going to, and again, this is information to help. Because your child you can turn your child into a child who's going to have major depression. Depression with mania. Borderline personality disorder. Name them, schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. Name the illness and you can be responsible for it. Dysmorphic, where the person believes that they are walking behind themselves, observing their self live life. So name the illness. The parent, in the manner of the relationship, can be the reason that there's an adult. Freud was right. Adult issues are because of unresolved childhood traumas. Freud was right. And there was a lot of discussion, and yeah, I do believe that you can do behavioral conditioning to stop behaviors, and thinking is a behavior. I was going to use the word bad behavior, but let's say well, just stay there. So what and I heard this and it was just so representative of a bad negative attitude. The source was surprising, but he was going on about how selfish and needy and unattached to the world around them children are, and talking about how cute and adorable they are, but they're basically little devils. And then like that all is dependent upon the parent. See, from the beginning, from the get-go, from the time the little baby is born, and I guess I gotta stop myself and what about when the baby's in the mama and in the mommy's belly? Okay, people have played music and there's been some registered effects. Science has been done on that, and can the baby inside the womb hear and respond to music, and will that have an impact on personality development? I think what's more important is what you do when the baby's out of the womb, how you interact with the child, and being a scolding, irrational, yelling, hitting a kid. I say that if you're the right kind of parent, you'll never have to use the rod on your child. And many people don't know what the right kind of parent is. There are there are parents who know how to love their kids. There are parents who know how to enjoy their children and who know how to teach lessons as they are engaged in a loving, joyful relationship with their children. There are parents who know how to do that. Unfortunately, many people don't. And that's okay, because what we don't know, we can learn. See, and from the beginning, from the get-go, if you understand what a child is, and before we used to actually, be raised in large family groups. And just by sheer observance, we would learn what is necessary, the kind of the tone of voice that you speak to a child with, all you're doing with an angry voice, with an angry face, is scaring the child. That's all you're doing. You're loading the child up with anxiety, and you're loading the child up with depression. A little baby doesn't know why you're yelling at the top of your lungs for the kid to shut up and stop crying. A crying baby needs to be comforted. And babies are just like us. They get bored. You leave them in the crib by themselves, they're going to get bored. They're going to cry to get your attention. So from the beginning, you have to be an involved, engaged parent. And I'm going to say this again. When you become a parent, by either, whether it was by design or by error, doesn't matter, you're a parent. Modern science doesn't matter. This discussion about a fetus, that you can abort a fetus, doesn't matter. You are a parent. And you have the responsibility of being a parent. And that means you have the responsibility of the emotional as well as the physical. And all those dreams you had about whatever it is you wanted to do, you know, be an author, be a painter, be a photographer, be a rock star, that's out the window now. Now you need gainful employment. Now you need to be a caregiver. You need to be a psychologist. You need to be a security guard. You need to be a police officer, a doctor, a nurse. You need to be everything for your kid. And you cannot be negative. And you definitely cannot be a person with depression or anxiety, or a screamer, a yeller, an irrational person. You need to be a calm person. You need to know how to talk in baby voices. That's what appeals to little babies. You know, you need to know how to entertain the child, and you need to know how to educate a child as far as values are concerned with entertainment. So when this well-known individual, Christian evangelist, is just going off about how everything that's wrong with babies is like, well, if all that is true, then you're not a good parent. Because as much as things can go the wrong way, things can go the right way. You can laugh, you can tickle a kid, you can play with a child, you can manage the kid's day so the child isn't awake when you're trying to rest to go to work. So you can go to work in the morning or whenever it is you wake up. Say, you let a baby sleep, just like you, they get themselves some nice, relaxful sleep, they're going to be awake. And they're going to want to be entertained. And they're going to want to eat. And their diapers are probably dirty. They're going to want their diapers changed. But if you manage the schedule of your kid according to your schedule, you keep the child awake, you play with the child. When you go to sleep, the child goes to sleep. You treat the kid in nice ways with hugs and kisses. And you're always teaching. You're a teacher. That's what those who work for God are. They're teachers. And they're teaching, the subject is God. And the textbook is the Bible. See? And in the Bible, you have a lot of helpful information as far as what to do as a parent. Uh-oh. I'm raising another taxi to the taxi zone. Let's see who wins. And then this guy wants to be on the wrong side of the road. So, therefore, it's not hard. Anything we don't know, we can learn. And everything that we are not familiar with is going to take a while to learn. You know, positive psychology is going to take a while to learn. It is. Without equivocation. It's going to take a while to learn relaxation, emotional management, cognitive restructuring. It will take a while to learn that stuff. You're not familiar with it. And then, it's not that you're not familiar with it, is that you don't have any appreciation for the information. You don't have any appreciation for it. That's the problem with our society. Everybody thinks they're an island among themselves. Everybody thinks that they are the smartest person. Almost every Christian thinks that they're the only good Christian. What's this guy looking at? Don't like him. Always prepared for him to go off the handle and start getting violent. Okay, so as a parent, you can be a kind, gentler, loving, teaching, educating, entertaining. Your child needs healthy food. You know, if your child is overweight It's not because the child has a job and has money and is going to the grocery store and buying all the wrong stuff. Somebody's giving that child what that child should not be eating. And there's all this talk about not shaming people. Oh no, we have to be shamed. If we're overweight, we're overweight. One, because we're eating more than we should be eating, and two, because we're eating all the wrong things. There's nobody that can convince me that eating vegetables, eating lettuce, is going to lead to a person being overweight. And there's nobody that can convince me that you have to eat, you have to drink all that soda, eat all those hamburgers to be healthy. There may be a psychological reason for that, but it's not a good psychological reason. And it's not a reason that has to do with health. So for the health of the child, the parent has to be healthy, and the parent has to teach healthy things for the health of the child. It's not, I know people want to think that life is about personal fulfillment and everything being the way they want it to be, and life being exactly what they have desired. And for the most part, if you're a single person, you have no responsibilities, you can pursue a college degree, you can, maybe start a business. But once you have a child, priorities need to change. The child is now first in all things, not before God, of course, but you're gonna be the reason. You're gonna be the you know if the child develops mental health issues, you're gonna be part of that reason. Now, I know that you can do everything right, and when they start experiencing life and experiencing disappointments and experiencing failures and starting to desire things and those things not becoming true, that is going to have impact. But see, if you teach a child how to properly deal with stress, how to properly deal with disappointments in life, then it doesn't have that negative impact. And you have the power to teach your child how to deal with disappointments in life, how to be a grown up, how to be mature, how to understand that sometimes things in life that we want don't work out the way we want them to. That requires a lot of growth and maturity. It requires a lot of growth and maturity for a child, that the child can't have that bicycle, or that even though they wanted to make it on the soccer team, it didn't work out that way, and it's not the end of the world. You have the ability to teach the child. And a lot of times parents deal with children as children, don't think of them as thinking entities, and only deal with them as children with all the cutesy stuff, but they're not formulating a relationship. They're definitely not talking and teaching. And then the child grows to an age of rebellion, because it's not that the child is rebelling, is that the child is developing their own personality, their own sense of self, and I don't want to hear from the Christians, about how it's selfish to think of self. All of us have things that we enjoy, things that we encountered and that we like. Now, some of that stuff we need to throw out of our life. When God comes into your life, he'll throw that stuff out of your life. He'll clean your home. He'll clean your apartment. And you'll be better for it. There's a lot of music I cannot listen to anymore, even though I enjoyed it when I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Joan Jett. Can't listen to her anymore. As a Christian, you don't want to put garbage in your mind, because it is going to form attitudes. It's going to have impact on how you behave, and consequently have impact on your behavior. On how you think, which will constantly impact on how you behave. And as a parent, what should be at the forefront of your mind is the absolute well-being of your child. And your child is going to cry, and your child's going to be disappointed, and maybe you'll get frustrated. But if you find constructive teaching mechanisms, then the child will start to develop um, good behaviors. And I'm always surprised by people who tell me, "Oh, well, you didn't have children, you don't understand." It's like, lady, I have spent time with around children. It's not hard to be respectful of children, to laugh with children, to make the teaching lesson pleasant and enjoyable. It isn't hard to understand that their values either come from you or they come from society. They come from their peer group. You need to be talking to your child so you can be correcting your child, because people are going to be telling your children things. When they're in the car with their friends and their parents are driving, they're going to be telling your children things. And a lot of those things are wrong. A lot of people live by the modern world and they think that everything they see is correct, and they don't question. They may not even have God in their life. Um, and they'll probably teach your kid the liberal communist way. They don't have discipline. To them, being a parent is just buying a whole bunch of stuff and keeping their children entertained. And I use the word entertainment, but healthy entertainment. You want to teach a good lesson, teach it with good entertainment. Make it fun. Laugh. And make the child enjoy the lesson. Not make the child enjoy the lesson, but be enjoyable to where the child enjoys how you're teaching. And boredom. I speak on boredom. And I'm convinced that a lot of what we see in the modern world, a lot of the angst, the pain and suffering coming from depression, coming from boredom, because ironically, people just don't know how to live anymore. They knew how to enjoy music as a teenager. They knew how to ride their bikes as teenagers. They knew how to hang out with friends. They had a close group of friends that they hung out with, and they enjoyed friendships. They had their family with them, and they enjoyed hanging out with the family, the mom, the dad, the brothers and sisters, the cousins, And you get to this point in time as an adult, and all of a sudden you just don't know how to have fun in life. And that's very unhealthy. It is not Christian. Being a Christian has nothing to do with not having fun ever again in your life. There's nothing to do with that whatsoever. And it's important to make development, because you have a little baby on the first day that's going to develop into an adult, and that developmental journey has to be a journey that is healthy for the child. And if I'm talking about thoughts, bad thoughts, negative thoughts, and I'm talking about bad thoughts, bad emotions, negative emotions, consequently bad behaviors, well, where do these philosophies come from? If you have, I was in, this was real time. I should have recorded it. I have this thing about recording customers because they are customers. And they were young people, a young girl and a young boy, and I've taken the female customer, to her home before. But she's hanging out with this guy, and there's nothing but filth coming out of their mouth. And I should be correct, there's nothing but filth coming out of his mouth. And I cannot claim innocence. I was young, I was stupid. It really bad. Where when you're talking about police officers and lawyers and doctors and customs officers, and the only thing that you can offer is bad words, negativity. Everything's bad, nothing works. You're the greatest thing on the planet of the earth, and that comes from somewhere. And that's going to have impact in this young man's life. Will this individual take life seriously? He has a girlfriend. Will he be the type of man that deserves to have a woman in his life? It's not all about laughing and joking. It's about paying bills. It's about weathering the storms. Women are, well, Now, everybody's a disadvantage because you really don't know who you're going to marry until you're actually married to them. Everybody looks nice and pretty before the marriage. After the marriage is when you really know, is this person a clean person? Does this person pick up his clothes? Does this person know how to do laundry? Men should do laundry. Men should wash dishes. Men should broom and mop. Women shouldn't take advantage of a man who knows how to do chores. You know, it is a partnership. Call it a division of labor, but a joyful division of labor. You know, I used to do things just because I wanted to give the gift of that to the person, cleaning their vehicle, the inside of the vehicle, vacuuming, shampooing the rugs. It wasn't because I was forced to do it, you know, just because I wanted to give that small gift to the person that I was with. So, and it takes adults. If you're going to have success in marriage, you need two mature grown-ups who know who they are as individuals and know the requirements of a relationship. People get divorced because they marry wrong. See, and all of this has to do with what you're teaching your children. All of it has to do with what you're teaching your children. The attitudes that your child's going to have about love, romance, and marriage is coming from you. It's coming from the television, from the movies. What movies do you allow your children to watch? What television programs do you allow your children to watch? Are you engaged with your children so you know what kind of conversations they're having with your peer group, with the parents of your peer group? And you as a parent, are you poisoning the minds of someone else? Personal responsibility, self-reliance, freedom, liberty, independence has great value. You know, I've been hearing this person who has a little bit of notoriety and talking about how he likes Trump's policies, but Trump is an immoral person. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, this guy must be God then. He must not sin. He must be perfect. He must never say anything wrong about anybody. You know, I and then I asked myself, as a person who is in this relationship with God, can I denounce Trump? If I denounce Trump, I got to denounce myself because I'm not innocent of anything either. Do I wish he hadn't made certain comments about women? Sure. Who's perfect? He who is without sin cast the first stone. He who says he's not a sinner lies, and by implication is a sinner. So, guy didn't want him. Let's see what's going on here. Buenas noches. Te digo que si aquí andan así. All right. So, what's on my mind? And why do I think I'm the person to be speaking on these issues? One, because of a long time I've been thinking about stuff, meditating on issues, and come to certain conclusions, helpful conclusions. And it took encountering Jesus Christ to recognize that it was not my wisdom, but the wisdom of God. Start at the beginning. The conclusion that life is supposed to be fun, even in hard times. And the way we have fun is through good entertainment. Hanging out with friends can be good entertainment. Hanging out with family can be good entertainment. It meets the demands that we have for human contact.